The airport was buzzing with early morning energy, families with suitcases, the aroma of fresh coffee, and excited chatter. Noah held my hand tightly, his little backpack loaded with his favorite toys and a crumpled brochure of Hawaii. His eyes sparkled excitedly as he pointed at the planes through the windows. I couldn't help but smile at his enthusiasm. Sophia stood on my other side, tapping away on her phone, while her mother, Eleanor, stood rigid, her gaze scanning the crowd with that familiar air of superiority. I tried not to let it bother me. This was supposed to be a family vacation, something Noah had been looking forward to for weeks. When we reached the check-in counter, I handed over the passports and boarding passes, expecting the process to be smooth. The clerk's confused expression caught me off guard. "I'm sorry, sir, but I don't see a ticket for your son," she said apologetically. My stomach dropped. I had triple-checked the booking. I turned to Eleanor, thinking this had to be some mistake, but she only smirked. "We decided there were too many of us," she said lightly. "So we thought it was best for Noah to stay behind." Her words hit me like a punch to the gut. I looked at Sophia, hoping for some sort of correction, but she just giggled, linking arms with her mother. "It's a trip for a real family," Sophia said with a wicked grin. Noah's small hand tightened around mine, his wide eyes filled with confusion. "Dad, I want to go too," he whispered, his voice trembling. I knelt down, trying to hide my own turmoil as I reassured him. "We're not going with them, buddy," I whispered back, forcing a calm tone. "We're going on our own adventure." Eleanor sighed dramatically. "Oh, don't be so sensitive. He'll be fine." Sophia laughed, clearly amused by my reaction. I didn't respond. Instead, I took Noah's hand, turned around, and walked away. Behind me, I could hear their mocking laughter, but I didn't look back. We found a quiet corner in the terminal, and Noah curled up beside me, sniffling. I felt my heart breaking as I watched him wipe his tears on his sleeve. "Did I do something bad, Dad?" he asked, his voice quivering. I knelt down to his level, putting a hand on his shoulder. "No, Noah, you didn't do anything wrong," I assured him. "They just don't know what real family is. But I do, and I promise I'll always be here for you." Right then, I made a silent vow to show Noah what love really looked like. I pulled out my phone and made a quick call, my mind already working on a plan. "Who are you calling, Dad?" Noah asked, his curiosity momentarily replacing his sadness. "Someone who knows what real family is," I replied with a reassuring smile. 30 minutes later, we were boarding a flight, not to Hawaii, but to Disney World. As the plane took off, Noah's face lit up with pure joy, his earlier sadness fading into excitement. Watching him chatter about meeting Mickey Mouse and going on rides, I realized something. This wasn't just a trip. It was the beginning of a new life. A life where I put Noah first and refused to let anyone make him feel unimportant. While Sophia and Eleanor were likely sipping cocktails in Hawaii, completely oblivious to the pain they caused, I was making memories that mattered. As the plane soared higher, I looked at Noah and knew I had made the right choice. This was about more than just a vacation, it was about taking back control of our lives. Our flight to Disney World was smoother than I expected, and for the first time in days, Noah looked genuinely happy. He was leaning against the plane window, watching the clouds with a wide-eyed wonder. I couldn't help but smile. As we touched down in Orlando, I could feel a weight lifting off my shoulders. I had spent so many years prioritizing Sophia's needs and appeasing Eleanor's constant criticisms that I had forgotten how to just enjoy life with my son. Now, it was just the two of us, and I was determined to make every moment count. After settling into the hotel, Noah and I headed straight to the Magic Kingdom. The look on his face when he saw Cinderella's castle was worth every penny. "Dad, look, it's just like in the movies," he shouted, practically bouncing with excitement. I ruffled his hair. "Let's go find Mickey, buddy." For hours, we wandered the park, meeting characters, eating way too much ice cream, and riding every attraction Noah pointed to. He was fearless, laughing his way through Space Mountain and proudly waving his pirate sword after the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. As we sat down for a late lunch, Noah looked up at me, his face smudged with chocolate. "Dad, this is the best day ever," he declared. I felt a lump in my throat. "You deserve it, kiddo. You deserve so much more." That night, back at the hotel while Noah was fast asleep, I took out my phone and stared at the screen. No missed calls. No messages. Nothing from Sophia. I couldn't decide whether I was relieved or furious. Ryan, my best friend, texted me out of the blue. "Hey, man. Just checking in. How's the trip going?" I filled him in on what happened at the airport. It felt good to finally tell someone. His response was instant. "What the hell? They just left him behind? That's messed up. You did the right thing, Alex. That kid needs you more than they ever will." He was right. I couldn't dwell on why Sophia did it. I had to focus on what came next. I had a sinking feeling that this wasn't just a one-time cruelty. It was a pattern. I needed to break it. The next day at the park, I decided to get proactive. While Noah played at one of the themed playgrounds, I called a lawyer I knew through work. "Hey, Greg. Got a minute?" "Of course, Alex. What's going on?" I explained the situation as calmly as I could. He was silent for a moment. "Abandoning a child at an airport? That's serious. If you're thinking about custody, this could work in your favor." "I'm not trying to punish her," I clarified. "I just want to make sure Noah's safe." Greg's tone softened. "I understand. But you have to think long-term. If she's willing to do this once, she might do worse next time. Document everything. Keep receipts, texts, and anything that shows how they treated Noah. You'll need evidence. I thanked him and hung up, my mind racing. I wasn't just going to sit back and hope things changed. I had to be proactive. That evening, as we watched the fireworks explode over the castle, I pulled Noah close. Did you have fun today? I asked. He nodded, still entranced by the colors in the sky. Yeah. Can we come back tomorrow? I chuckled. Of course. We'll do it all over again. The guilt of not protecting him sooner gnawed at me. I had let Sophia and Eleanor manipulate me for so long that I hadn't seen how it was affecting Noah. But not anymore. I was done playing by their rules. After Noah fell asleep, I opened the family group chat, half expecting some update from Sophia. Instead, there was a single message from Eleanor. You're making a big mistake. Sophia deserves better than your attitude. Stop acting like a victim. I didn't reply. Instead, I saved the message as evidence. It was becoming clear that neither of them saw what they did as wrong. They just saw me as an inconvenience for not going along with their plan. The next morning, I took Noah to the animal kingdom, and his laughter as he saw the giraffes on the safari ride reminded me that I was doing the right thing. He needed to feel loved, not cast aside. Back at the hotel that night, I received a notification from social media. Sophia had posted a picture of herself and Eleanor on the beach captioned, "Vacation with my favorite person. #family first, #Hawaii dreaming." I couldn't believe the nerve. While Noah and I were making the best of a broken plan, they were celebrating as if nothing had happened. I saved the post too. If Sophia wanted to play games, I was ready to fight back with the truth. I tucked Noah in, kissing his forehead, and whispered, "I promise, kiddo. I'm not letting them hurt you again." As I watched him sleep, I knew one thing for sure. I was done letting anyone make my son feel like he didn't matter. By the third day at Disney World, Noah and I had developed a routine. We would wake up early, grab breakfast at the hotel, and head to a different park each day. His favorite so far had been Hollywood Studios, especially the Star Wars section. Watching him swing a toy lightsaber with a huge grin on his face made every decision I had made feel right. That morning, as Noah was busy building a droid in the workshop, I called Ryan for an update on the home front. "Hey, man. Just checking in," I said quietly, not wanting Noah to hear. "You're not gonna believe this," Ryan replied. "Sophia's been posting nonstop. She's acting like the perfect wife on vacation, no mention of Noah, though." "Figures," I muttered. I saved some of her posts. They're proof that she doesn't even acknowledge her own son. Ryan's tone shifted to a more serious one. I talked to Greg too. He said the kind of social media evidence could help, especially since it shows neglect. "Good. I'll keep saving everything," I replied, feeling more determined. When we got back to the hotel that evening, I spent some time uploading everything to a secure cloud folder, screenshots, texts, and even videos of Noah talking about how much fun he was having without mentioning his mom. I needed to document the contrast between the love and care Noah was receiving now versus the indifference from Sophia and Eleanor. After Noah fell asleep, I called Greg again to update him. "I've got everything saved," I reported. "Good. Keep it up," Greg advised. "Also, start gathering any communication from Sophia or Eleanor that shows their attitude toward Noah. The more consistent the pattern, the better it looks for your case." I sighed, feeling both overwhelmed and focused. "Got it. I just want to make sure Noah's safe." "I know you do," Greg replied. "We'll build a strong case. Just keep doing what you're doing, being a good dad." The next morning, Noah woke up with a new idea. "Dad, can we get matching hats today?" he asked, eyes sparkling. I couldn't help but laugh. "Absolutely. Let's make it happen." We picked out matching Mickey Mouse ears and wore them proudly as we explored Epcot. Passers-by kept smiling at us, probably because of Noah's infectious energy. During lunch, I received a notification from the family group chat. I hesitated before opening it, unsure whether I was ready to face more guilt-tripping. To my surprise, it was a message from Sophia. "Just checking in. Hope Noah's okay. Heard you went to Disney. How irresponsible of you to spend money like that." I gritted my teeth. She had left Noah at the airport, yet somehow my decision to make my son happy was the irresponsible one. I didn't reply. Instead, I saved the message and forwarded it to Greg. Ryan texted me shortly after. "Saw Sophia's post about how you're recklessly spending. Unbelievable. Stay strong, man." I shot back a quick reply. "Not surprised. Thanks for keeping an eye on things." That night, after another long and joyful day at the park, Noah fell asleep clutching his new stuffed animal, Donald Duck. I sat on the hotel balcony, staring at the city lights, wondering how long it would take Sophia to realize that this time I wasn't going to be manipulated back into compliance. I couldn't help but think about the years I had spent placating Sophia and Eleanor, how they would criticize my parenting, constantly reminding me how I wasn't doing enough. I had been so focused on keeping the peace that I hadn't noticed how it was breaking me apart. Noah deserved better than that version of me. He deserved the dad who fought for him. The next morning, I got another text from Greg. "Meeting with the custody lawyer is set for next week. You'll need to present your evidence. Let's be prepared." I replied with a simple thumbs up, grateful that things were moving forward. While packing for our flight home, Noah looked at me with those big, hopeful eyes. "Dad, can we come back here one day?" I knelt down, ruffling his hair. "You bet, buddy. We'll come back as much as you want." I meant it. This wasn't just a vacation, it was a promise. A promise that I would never let him feel unloved or unwanted again. As we boarded the plane, I knew that going back home wouldn't be easy. Sophia and Eleanor would surely have their own version of events ready to fire at me. But I wasn't afraid anymore. I had Noah's laughter ringing in my ears and the strength of knowing I was doing the right thing. The flight home was quieter than the one to Disney World. Noah fell asleep on my shoulder, his Mickey hat slightly askew. I watched him sleep, thinking about everything that lay ahead. Custody battles, family drama, more manipulation attempts. I knew it wouldn't be easy. But I also knew that I wasn't alone. I had my son, my friends, and the determination to build a better life for us. As the plane touched down, I took a deep breath. It was time to fight, not just for custody, but for the chance to give Noah the stable, loving home he deserved. Back home, reality hit me harder than I expected. Unpacking our suitcases felt like a symbolic transition from the carefree days of Disney back to the cold, complicated situation I was facing. Noah seemed a bit quieter, too, as if sensing that the fun was over and something more serious was coming. I made sure to keep things as normal as possible for him. We spent our evenings watching movies, playing board games, and making pancakes for dinner just because we could. I needed to keep his routine stable even as I prepared for the custody battle ahead. One afternoon, while Noah was drawing at the kitchen table, I got a call from Greg. "Alex, I've been going over the evidence you sent me. The social media posts are solid, especially the ones that show Sophia and Eleanor's complete disregard for Noah. But we'll need more specifically proof of her ongoing neglect." "What do you mean?" I asked, keeping my voice low so Noah wouldn't overhear. "Financial records, text messages, anything that shows she hasn't been contributing to Noah's upbringing or has been putting her needs first," Greg clarified. "I've got plenty of that. I'll sort through it tonight," I promised. That evening, after Noah fell asleep, I dug through my digital records. Bank statements showed countless charges for Sophia's shopping sprees, while payments for Noah's school fees, medical bills, and daily expenses always came from my account. I found texts from Sophia complaining about how exhausting it was to be a mom while also requesting money for spa days and dinners out with her mother. One message stood out. "Sophia, you need to take Noah more often. I can't be stuck babysitting while mom and I have plans. He's your responsibility too." I saved that along with the countless other messages where she treated Noah like a burden rather than her son. I sent the compiled evidence to Greg and took a deep breath. Every step forward made me feel more in control, but the thought of facing Sophia in court was daunting. The next day, Ryan dropped by with coffee, sensing that I needed a distraction. "How's the evidence gathering going?" he asked, settling onto the couch. "Honestly, it's exhausting. I keep finding more proof that I should have done this a long time ago," I admitted. Ryan nodded thoughtfully. "Better late than never. You're doing the right thing." Suddenly, my phone buzzed, a message from Sophia. "We're back from Hawaii. You better have the house clean when we get home. And tell Noah to stop calling me. I'm busy." I stared at the screen, anger bubbling up. Noah had tried calling her? I hadn't even realized. I went to check his tablet and sure enough, there were 3 missed calls to Sophia from the previous evening. My heart sank. He just wanted to talk to his mom and she couldn't even bother to pick him up. I looked at Ryan, who raised an eyebrow. "She didn't even answer her own kid's call?" he asked, incredulous. "Nope," I replied, saving the message. "She doesn't get it. She doesn't care." "Alex," Ryan said slowly, "you're doing the right thing by fighting for custody. Noah needs someone who actually puts him first." I nodded, my resolve hardening. "She's not taking him from me. Not after this." The next morning, I called Greg to fill him in. "This will help," he said. "Document how often she doesn't answer or respond to Noah. It shows a pattern of neglect." "Will do," I assured him. That evening, Noah came up to me with his tablet in hand. "Dad, why doesn't Mom answer when I call?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. My heart ached. I pulled him into a hug. "Sometimes people don't understand what's important, buddy. But I'm here. You can always talk to me." He nodded, seeming to accept it, but I could see the hurt in his eyes. Later that night, as I put Noah to bed, he looked up at me with a question that broke my heart. "Dad, do you think Mom loves me?" I swallowed hard, forcing myself to stay calm. "Of course she does," I replied softly, not wanting to burden him with adult realities. "Sometimes people just don't know how to show it." He seemed to think about it for a moment, then snuggled deeper into his blankets. "I love you, Dad," he murmured, half asleep. "I love you too, Noah. Always." After he fell asleep, I sat on the couch, scrolling through more of Sophia's social media posts. There she was, laughing on the beach, dining at upscale restaurants, while her own son wondered if she loved him. I couldn't let Noah grow up feeling unloved or second best. I called Greg one more time that night. "Greg, I'm ready to fight. Whatever it takes, I'm not letting them mess up Noah's life anymore." Greg's response was firm. "We'll make it happen, Alex. Keep gathering evidence. We're building a strong case." As I hung up, I felt a surge of determination. Noah deserved a parent who would put him first, who would be there for him without making him feel like a burden. I wasn't just fighting for custody. I was fighting for Noah's right to feel loved and safe. The next few days were a whirlwind of preparation. I spent every free moment organizing screenshots, compiling financial records, and documenting instances where Sophia blatantly ignored Noah. It was overwhelming, but every time I looked at my son, I knew it was worth it. Greg called to update me. "Alex, I've gone through the files you sent. The financial records are crucial. They clearly show that Sophia hasn't contributed to Noah's upbringing in years. The social media posts also help establish her priorities. So, do you think we have a shot? I asked, my stomach twisting with nerves. I believe so. The abandonment at the airport is the most powerful evidence. If we can prove a consistent pattern of neglect, we're in a strong position. I exhaled, feeling a bit of hope for the first time. Thanks, Greg. I'll keep documenting. That evening, while Noah was playing with his toy cars, my phone buzzed. It was a group message from Sophia. You had no right to take Noah on a trip without telling me. You're being selfish and irresponsible. I'm his mother, and I deserve respect. I didn't respond. Instead, I saved the message. Ryan texted me shortly after. Saw her post about you kidnapping Noah. She's really trying to flip the narrative. I gritted my teeth. She was trying to make it seem like I had taken Noah without her consent when, in reality, she had abandoned him. The next day, I dropped Noah off at school. His teacher, Mrs. Cooper, pulled me aside. Alex, is everything okay at home? Noah's been a bit quieter than usual. I hesitated but decided to be honest. His mom and I are going through a lot. He's probably just processing everything. She gave me a sympathetic look. He's a good kid. Just know we're here to support him. Thanks. I appreciate it, I replied. On the way home, I couldn't shake the guilt. I had tried so hard to shield Noah from the fallout, but he wasn't oblivious. He could sense the tension even if he didn't fully understand it. That night, while Noah was asleep, I got another message from Sophia. We need to talk. You can't just take him whenever you feel like it. I replied calmly. You left him at the airport. I wasn't taking him anywhere you didn't already abandon him from. Let's discuss this through the lawyers. Her response was quick and angry. Stop playing the victim. You always exaggerate. Just admit you're trying to take him away from me because you're jealous of my relationship with Mom. I didn't reply. Instead, I forwarded the entire exchange to Greg. The next morning, while getting Noah ready for school, he asked me something that caught me off guard. Dad, why doesn't Mom like to do fun stuff with us? I froze, unsure how to answer. Sometimes people have different ideas of fun, buddy. But I love doing things with you. You know that, right? He nodded, but I could see the confusion in his eyes. Yeah. I just wish Mom liked it too. I knelt down, hugging him tightly. I know, buddy. I know. Later that day, Greg called again. Alex, I've set up a preliminary custody hearing for next week. We'll present the evidence and request temporary custody based on the abandonment incident. Temporary? I asked. It's the first step. If the judge grants it, Noah will stay with you while we build the full case. We'll aim for permanent custody later. I felt a knot loosen in my chest. Okay, let's do it. After school, Noah seemed happier, telling me about a new art project he was excited about. I encouraged him, trying to keep our routine as normal as possible. But in the back of my mind, I was bracing for the court battle. That evening, Sophia called. I hesitated before answering. What do you want? I asked bluntly. You can't just take Noah away from me, she snapped. I didn't take him. You left him. There's a difference, I replied firmly. I was planning to bring him later. You just overreacted, she argued. You made him feel abandoned, Sophia. You can't just drop your own son like he's an afterthought. She scoffed. You're blowing this out of proportion. I'm his mother. No judge will take him from me. I stayed calm. We'll see about that. She hung up, clearly frustrated. I knew she didn't understand the gravity of her actions, and that scared me more than anything. After putting Noah to bed, I sat on the couch, trying to process everything. My phone buzzed with another message from Ryan. You good? Need anything? I texted back. Just trying to stay focused. Hearings next week. His reply was instant. You got this. You're doing it for Noah. That simple reminder made the weight a little easier to bear. I wasn't fighting out of spite or anger, I was fighting for my son's right to feel safe, loved, and valued. As I looked through the stack of evidence again, I felt more determined than ever. I couldn't let Sophia's manipulations win. This wasn't just about me, it was about giving Noah the life he deserved, free from neglect and selfishness. The night stretched on, but I didn't feel tired. I was ready to fight for my son, no matter what it took. The morning of the custody hearing arrived faster than I expected. I made sure Noah was dropped off at school before heading to the courthouse. Ryan insisted on driving me there, sensing that I needed moral support. You got this, man, he said as we pulled into the parking lot. You're doing the right thing. I nodded, taking a deep breath. I just hate that it's come to this. But I can't back down now. Inside the courtroom, I spotted Greg, looking as composed as ever. Ready? He asked, handing me a file of our compiled evidence. As ready as I'll ever be, I replied. The doors opened and Sophia walked in, followed closely by Eleanor. Sophia looked confident, as if this whole thing was just an inconvenience to her. Eleanor, on the other hand, glared at me like I was the villain of the story. I forced myself to remain calm, refusing to let their presence rattle me. As the hearing began, Sophia's lawyer took the floor, presenting their side. Your Honor, my client, Sophia, has been a dedicated mother to Noah. This sudden custody challenge is not only disruptive but also based on exaggerated claims by the father, who has a history of being controlling and uncooperative. I clenched my jaw, but Greg placed a reassuring hand on my shoulder. We'll have our turn, he whispered. Sophia took the stand, her demeanor shifting to one of forced vulnerability. I love my son, she began, voice trembling. I've always put him first. This whole situation is just Alex trying to punish me because I wanted a break. We planned the Hawaii trip, but he overreacted and took Noah away without telling me. Her lawyer added, Sophia was under the impression that Noah would join them later. It was never an abandonment. When it was Greg's turn, he called me to the stand. I took a deep breath, forcing myself to stay composed. Alex, can you describe the events leading up to the incident at the airport? Greg asked. I recounted the morning, how Sophia and Eleanor had intentionally excluded Noah from the flight and openly mocked him for being upset. When I realized they had deliberately left Noah out of the plans, I decided to take him on a separate trip to ensure he didn't feel abandoned, I explained. Greg nodded. And how did Noah react? He was heartbroken. He kept asking why he couldn't go with his mom. I did my best to reassure him, but he knew something wasn't right. Greg then presented the evidence. Social media posts of Sophia and Eleanor in Hawaii celebrating family time without any mention of Noah. Text messages from Sophia blaming me for being irresponsible for taking Noah to Disney World. Messages where Sophia stated she didn't want to be stuck babysitting while she and Eleanor had plans. Financial records show that I had been the primary caregiver and financial provider for Noah. Greg wrapped up by emphasizing that Sophia's actions at the airport demonstrated a clear disregard for Noah's emotional well-being. Your Honor, this is not an isolated incident. The pattern here shows a lack of prioritizing Noah's needs, favoring personal enjoyment instead. Sophia's lawyer tried to counter, claiming I was controlling and trying to alienate Noah from his mother. That's when Greg played the audio recording I had taken at the airport, Sophia's voice coldly saying Noah wasn't real family. The courtroom fell silent. Eleanor suddenly stood up shouting, "That's taken out of context. You're trying to make Sophia look bad." The judge banged the gavel. "Ma'am, sit down or you'll be removed." I kept my gaze forward, refusing to react. The judge looked at both parties, his expression serious. Based on the evidence presented, it's clear that there was a significant lapse in parental judgment on Sophia's part. Leaving a child at an airport without any plan for his care constitutes neglect. Sophia's face fell, the confidence draining from her. The judge continued, "I'm granting temporary custody to the father, Alex, pending a full investigation. Miss Sophia, you will have supervised visitation until we assess the full scope of the situation. The welfare of the child must come first." Relief washed over me. I barely registered Greg patting my shoulder, congratulating me on staying calm. Sophia looked stunned and Eleanor whispered furiously in her ear. As I left the courtroom, I finally felt like I had done something right for Noah. Outside, Ryan was waiting. "How did it go?" he asked, eyes wide with anticipation. "I got temporary custody," I said, unable to hide the smile. He clapped me on the back. "I knew you'd pull through. Noah's lucky to have you." That evening, I picked Noah up from school, holding back tears as he hugged me tight. "Hey, buddy. How was your day?" "Good. We painted dinosaurs," he exclaimed. I ruffled his hair, grateful that he still had his bright spirit despite everything. "You know what? Let's go get some ice cream to celebrate," I suggested. Noah's eyes lit up. "Yeah. Can I get sprinkles?" "Of course," I replied, finally allowing myself to breathe. As we sat at the ice cream parlor, I realized that while the battle wasn't over, we had taken a huge step forward. I wasn't just fighting for custody, I was fighting for Noah's right to feel loved, safe, and valued. The days following the custody hearing were a whirlwind of adjustment. Knowing that Noah was now officially under my care was both a relief and a challenge. I spent the first few days just making sure his routine stayed consistent: school, playtime, and bedtime stories. Stability was my priority. Ryan came by one evening, bringing takeout and his usual upbeat attitude. "Look at you, Mr. Full-Time Dad," he joked, handing me a box of Chinese food. I smirked. "It's exhausting, but worth it." Noah's been happier since the hearing. Less anxious. "That's a good sign," Ryan said, digging into his meal. "Any more drama from Sophia?" I shook my head. "Not directly. But I heard from Greg that her lawyer's trying to appeal the temporary custody order. They're claiming it was all a misunderstanding." Ryan rolled his eyes. "Of course they are. Just keep doing what you're doing. You've got the high ground." The following weekend, I took Noah to the park. He raced around the playground, his laughter echoing through the crisp autumn air. I sat on a bench watching him, feeling more relaxed than I had in months. Just seeing him happy made every struggle worth it. At one point, Noah climbed up beside me, his cheeks flushed from playing. "Dad, when's Mom coming to play with us?" he asked, his voice innocent but curious. I hesitated. "She's busy right now. But you and I will keep having fun, okay?" He nodded, seeming satisfied with that answer. That night, as I was tucking Noah into bed, he asked another question that caught me off guard. "Do you still love Mom?" I paused, unsure of how to respond. "I'll always care about her because she's your mom," I said gently. "But right now, we're just focusing on taking care of each other." He seemed to think about that, then nodded. "Okay. I love you, Dad." "I love you too, buddy. Always." After Noah fell asleep, I checked my phone. There was a message from Greg. Sophia's lawyer reached out. They want mediation instead of a drawn-out court battle. I think they're realizing they don't have a strong case. "Let's discuss tomorrow." I replied. "Sounds good. Let's explore it." The idea of mediation felt like a potential way to resolve things without dragging Noah through more conflict. but I wasn't about to compromise his safety or stability. I needed to know that Sophia understood the gravity of what she had done. The next day, Greg and I discussed the mediation offer. If we go this route, we'll push for a parenting plan that puts Noah's well-being first, Greg explained. Supervised visits? I asked. Most likely yes. Until she proves she's capable of prioritizing Noah, Greg confirmed. Let's do it. I'm willing to work with her, but not at the cost of Noah's happiness. 2 weeks later, the mediation took place. Sophia looked tense and Eleanor was noticeably absent, a sign that maybe Sophia was finally beginning to see things clearly. The mediator started with the basics, finding common ground for Noah's sake. I just want to be part of his life, Sophia said, her voice surprisingly softer than usual. I stayed calm. Noah deserves parents who put him first. Leaving him at the airport wasn't just a mistake, it was harmful. Sophia's eyes filled with tears. I didn't think. I just thought he'd slow us down. Mom said he'd be fine with you. Her admission, though frustrating, at least felt honest. He's your son, Sophia. You can't just push him aside because it's inconvenient, I replied firmly. She nodded, wiping her eyes. I get that now. I was wrong. I want to make it right. The mediator helped us draft a plan. Sophia would have supervised visits, gradually moving to unsupervised based on her commitment to Noah. Parenting classes were mandatory, focusing on child safety and emotional development. All communication regarding Noah would go through a co-parenting app to keep records. After the session, Sophia approached me. Thank you for giving me a chance, she said, her voice wavering. I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for Noah. Prove to him that you care, I replied. She nodded, seemingly humbled for once. That evening, I told Noah about the plan in simple terms. Mom's going to spend some time learning how to be the best mom she can be. You'll see her soon, but for now it'll just be you and me like always, I explained. He seemed okay with that, more interested in finishing his drawing than the complicated adult stuff. Ryan texted me later. How'd it go? Better than expected. Still cautious, but hopeful. You're doing great, man. Proud of you. That night, as Noah snuggled on the couch beside me, I felt an overwhelming sense of peace. It wasn't perfect and it wasn't resolved, but it was progress. Sophia seemed to realize that this wasn't just about winning, it was about being there for Noah. I looked down at my son, asleep with his head on my shoulder, and whispered, we're gonna be okay, buddy. I promise. The battle wasn't over, but I had taken the first step toward giving Noah the life he deserved, a life where he was always loved and never forgotten. Hope you enjoyed this story as much as I do. Help this small channel grow by hitting that like button, subscribing, and sharing with your friends. Every bit of support means the world. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.